a couple of guys who weren't War Room and a couple of guys who were, and I said, you see what Tate just said? I hope he's joking, that's gotta be a joke, innit? And I said, like, if I see anyone who actually does that, if someone replies to that in 8 hours and says I did it, I'm gonna have to leave. It may sound extreme, me saying that, but the leaders in consistently called it a cult. They reminded all the members, you're part of a cult, you're part of a cult. So me saying it, you know, you're telling me it's a cult now I'm in there, but you didn't tell me it was a cult before I joined. If I knew that, I probably wouldn't have joined.
This guy has just exposed Andrew Tate's War Room as a cult full of complete losers. You will not believe some of the stuff going on in here. You may recognise this guy's face from Hustlers University, or the real world, from well-produced ads like this.
Andrew Tate and Hustlers University 2.0. I joined because it's $50. I'm the same as everyone else. When I see these millionaires posting courses and stuff like that, and all this, I'm going to teach you how to make money, the first thing I think, oh, scam, whatever. Let me just scroll past this, you know what I mean? It's $50, I'll just see what it's saying.
Okay, so I've done it over 10k in what, 3 weeks? The month ain't even over yet. I've made 10k this month so far. It's the first time I've ever made this amount of money in 1 month, and I don't feel good. I feel like crap. Do you know why I say I feel like crap? Because I feel like my whole life's been a lie. Where I'm from, no one makes that type of money. Last week I went to visit my mum. I said, Mum, I'm making more money than I've ever made in my life, and I gave her the benchmark of what I was expecting by the end of April. The look on her face. She tried to play it off cool and just say she was proud, but I was seeing her eyes water up.
So this video was interesting for a few reasons. So here's a guy who actually made money from Hustlers Uni. Admittedly, it was from conning other people and getting them to join. Although he can argue there are a small number of people who actually made money. I think he joined the pyramid scheme early and was clearly very good at getting others to join. A real con man spirit. And it was this that got him noticed by members of the War Room, who sent him an invite to the cult, his words. Now I'll play what he's had to say, and I'm going to jump in regularly because pay close attention, there's definitely some sort of Stockholm syndrome going on here. The phrase comes from an incident in Sweden where a group of bank robbers held employees hostage for days. Small acts of kindness in a high stress situation, like allowing them to eat and drink, became somehow much more meaningful, forming some weird kind of bonding to the captors. Very similar to the girls' experiences working under Andrew Tate. Lots of abuse mixed with some motivating words. Anyway, listen out for it as this guy tells his story. It's like he can't quite bring himself to admit that he's been had, and that Andrew Tate is a complete piece of shit. But he does allude to it occasionally, even unintentionally.
Okay, why I left the War Room, Andrew Tate's War Room. Now, I've been meaning to make this video for a little while now. I announced I was going to make it a couple of weeks back, and I had a couple of negative comments, like a couple of negative DMs of guys who I assume are, you know, big Tate fans or in the War Room themselves, and assumed that this was going to be some type of negative video or some type of hit piece style video. Number one, I make videos on whatever the fuck I want to make videos on. I talk about whatever I want to talk about, so don't waste your time DMing me something because you got like something negative to say about what I'm talking about. You're wasting your time. Number two, it's not a hit piece. It's nothing negative really. It's not me telling people not to join because I left. It's me telling you that I joined. This is why I left. End of discussion. You know what I mean? So nothing to debate, nothing to argue about. It's just me telling you why I left. That's it. So I joined in the summer 2022. So I joined a while ago and I've been gone for a while now. Seen some success with HU, the real world. And you know, I was making videos at the time. The videos were getting good views, and I had a few War Room members reach out to me, kind of like, you know, they've seen my videos and they're kind of like, you know, you need to join. It's the next step, you know, the next logical step. That's what I was saying to myself when they mentioned it. And, you know, spoke to a guy who worked in the Hustlers University. I forgot his name, but he got me the invite, he sent me the invite. I joined. And the first little red flag that I noticed was I felt like I got in there a little bit too easily. Now, at the time, I kind of chalked it up to, okay, then maybe the admins or whatever had seen my videos and they're kind of like, okay, then this guy seems cool. He kind of fits the mold of what we're looking for. Let's let him in. Because I was kind of like, I hope you can't just pay and get in. Because then anyone can get in. What's stopping like just a bunch of Tate fanboys getting in? You know, it was going so viral at the time. Well, if just a bunch of Tate fanboys go in, you know, and it's like, this is like a big, exclusive, powerful network. Wouldn't that kind of dilute it? If anyone can just pay and get in.
Already super naive thinking you're invited because you're special. This your delivery. He'd been posting all of his profits in his videos to lure his new victims into Hustlers University. I think they saw you coming, mate. Also, for a bit of context, He said he joined the war room in summer 2022. If you remember the timeline from Andrew Tate's sham conversion to Islam, he converted to Islam in October 2022, because by the end of August 2022, he had been kicked off all social media platforms. So this guy is a bit late to be claiming he didn't know what Andrew Tate was all about by then. In fact, this video has rat leaving sinking ship vibes, just like Candace Owens.
I thought that Andrew Tate would be found not guilty in Romania of the charges that were brought against him. If you're interested to go back and watch that case, we will include it in the link in the bio.
He released this a month ago, but actually left the war room much earlier. Looks a lot like leaving your options open. Maybe I could go back in if he gets off. But almost exactly when Andrew was told he was going to trial, he releases this friendly hit piece. Sitting so centrally on the fence, you can see him struggling with the splinters in his cheeks.
So I got in and then I realised anyone can just pay and get in. There's no like application type thing to get in. You can just pay and get in. So automatically in my mind, that's going to dilute it. But, you know, little negative beginning, but let's go in. Let's see what happens. So I get in there. My initial impression, okay, it's a Telegram group. I'm all for Telegram groups. I've got a Telegram group. They're beneficial. I understand it. But when you're paying that much, I was hoping to see a little bit more than what I've seen initially. But again, I've only just got in. I haven't even started yet. I haven't even communicated with anyone yet. Let's just do what we got to do. Now, I can't remember the whole process, but you know, you're advised by certain guys, admins, or whoever I was speaking to at the time. You're told to do certain things that will maximise your benefit, right? So right at the beginning, I'm told to watch this movie. And now, this can be down to my character. Nothing wrong with the war room at this point, but this could be a flaw in my character and I'll take some accountability. I ain't watching no fucking movie. Do you know what I mean? I've joined this network and you're telling me before I get started, I need to watch this movie. I didn't watch the movie. I can't remember what it was called. And then I'm told, before you get started, you should buy these 5 courses. Again, I'm all for courses. Courses are beneficial if you seeked the course. You wanted the course. Not somebody telling you, you need these courses. And if I don't do these courses, I'm not going to be respected as a member. I'm not going to be prioritised as a member. It's kind of like if you don't do them, if you don't do the courses, you kind of view that, oh, you ain't even done this course, you ain't even done that course, so your opinion don't matter. That type of thing. One of the courses was like a chess course. I ain't playing chess. I'm not interested in playing chess. The last thing I want to do today is play chess. I get it. You know, guys play chess, and because it's like a universal game for nerds, money guys kind of try and spin it and be like, well, this is what successful people play. It's all about strategy. It's all about life. It's all about, no, you enjoy playing chess. That's what it is. No one I know in person who plays chess is more intelligent or more strategic than me. There's nothing. You enjoy playing chess. That's what it is. I'm not interested. I'm not buying this course. Body language course, how to talk to girls course, different types of courses that, you know, I weren't interested in. But one of them was almost like insisted, which was the Iron Mind course. So if this is insisted, I'll get this one. And again, all right. It was okay course, but it weren't nothing I weren't seeking it, but whatever. Anyway, so initially I'm already, nothing to do with war room, but already I'm showing resistance internally. I'm not verbalizing this, but internally I'm like, you know, I don't want to do none of this type of stuff, but I get it, you know, let's see what's happening. I haven't even spoke to anyone or met anyone yet, so let's get started.
You can start to see the disconnect early, where he's named 3 or 4 red flags already. Got in far too easy, massively overpriced for what is essentially a Telegram group, upselling tacky courses you didn't want and insisting on them, but then he blames himself for being resistant. You see what I mean? This continues throughout. Next he describes the other members. This is very interesting and very predictable. Again,
I join straight away. It is full of Tate fans, Tate fanboys, people, fans that I would consider, you know, taking it too far, especially as a grown man. And me, I like Tate too. I loved that summer where he took over with the TikToks and the content and the podcasts, and I rode that wave with my channel. So yeah, I enjoy his content too. But as a grown man, your fandom should only go so far. Do you know what I mean? you got to check yourself and be like, right, and let's not get carried away. Because I've seen a lot of Tate worship in there, and you got to be careful. You ain't even got to, let me just explain this. You ain't got to be careful, because I was going to say, the lines were kind of blurred. Is this a network or is this a cult? Now, it may sound extreme me saying that, but the leaders in there consistently called it a cult. They reminded all the members, you're part of a cult, you're part of a cult. So me saying it, you know, you're telling me it's a cult now I'm in there, but you didn't tell me it was a cult before I joined. If I knew that, I probably wouldn't have joined. But whatever. So it was interesting to me how they admitted that that's what it was.
So again, interesting to see, even after being told by senior members, this is a cult, and despite the other 5 red flags, they continue on. No problem, let's see what this cult is all about. Now he goes into some details about the other members. This is actually pretty funny as he paints a very good picture.
Fine, but okay then, I started communicating with some people. I introduced myself in a long-winded way, because that's how they ask for you to introduce yourself. Loads of people, you know, welcomed me in. Tate welcomed me in personally too. I noticed straight away, okay then, everyone gets the benefit of the doubt because you're a war room member. You're going to get a reply. People will meet up with you. There is, you know, there's opportunities here just because you're a war room member. That's what the network's for. So in that aspect, it's beneficial. Now, but who are you networking with? And this is a big issue that I ran into. Every single guy seemed the same. Every single guy was trying to be like Tate. Not financially, we all want Tate's money, but down to his hobbies, what he'd eat, what he'd drink. Everyone drank sparkling water, everyone smoked a cigar, everyone's picture was the same. So I get it, when they're promoting war rooms, so I get members in, they're using Tate, Tristan, Jay Waller and all them guys, they're in their suit, they're walking around, they're looking important. These members, they've got a suit and cigar too, but you know, look, some of them look like Mr. Bean. Now again, one of the reasons why I left, there was a lot of Tate worship, even to the point where they'd refer to him as Chief Commander. So grown men by the way. Oh, thanks Chief Commander, what do you think of this? Blah, blah. And Tate wouldn't correct them. So if in my Telegram group, guys were calling me like Chief Commander or something like that, I'd be like, bro, you don't need to call me that. You know, we're all, I know I created the group, but we're all equal. We're all, you know, we're all boys. We're all in this together. Just call me by my name, bro. There weren't none of that. It was almost encouraged. Again, down to the courses. The courses seemed like Tate's hobbies. What Tate believed every man should do. Every man should play chess. Every man should do this. Every man should do that. Again, that's beneficial for guys that are seeking that. I wasn't seeking that. I was in there to see how I can maximise, you know, my earnings type of thing. And I understand it. Guys will say, well, you can't just join and then expect to get all the spoils just because you joined. I get it. You got to work your way up these networks. But when you start and so many things are rubbing you the wrong way, it kind of zaps your energy and zaps your enthusiasm in kind of like, is this network for me? So even if I get to these other levels, what if it just gets worse and worse and worse and it's like shit that doesn't sit right with me? And that's what I was thinking. So no, I didn't go to every single meeting and speak to every single person, which most people, which is what they'll advise if they ever heard anything negative being said. Well, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. Well, this is why I didn't do it, and because the guys I would have been meeting, I wouldn't even have known who they are really, because they're all pretending to be Tate.
Again, stops short of calling Andrew Tate out. He lets all these pathetic weasels call him Chief Commander. Oh, the cringe levels. And again, he never says anything about Andrew Tate, the cult leader. It's like he blames everyone else except the cult leader. This continues throughout.
So, I'm not going to a dinner when there's 15 people and all of them tell the waiter, sparkling water please, sparkling water please. And it's getting silly, do you know what I mean? Like, who are you? Do you know what I mean? Like, who are you? So that kind of halted me and stunted my growth as far as getting involved and being more vocal in there, because I was just kind of irritated a lot of the time. Again, could be a flaw with my character and nothing to do with that organisation. You're expected to work your way up, but when you first join, you are amongst guys that, you know, other guys that are just paid to be there. A lot of the guys are just Tate fans hoping they can eventually meet Tate. And a lot of them are men that are not where they want to be, not just financially, in every other aspect. And in my opinion, because of some of the ages of the guys in there, if you're younger, it's 100% acceptable. But there were some guys that were like my age and even older that were at the ground level of like self-improvement. Ground level. So there'll be a room where there's a guy in there teaching you how to deal with women. And then you'd look and guys are sending in screenshots of conversations they've had. Oh, she said this, what shall I say back? And then other guys are replying, oh, say this back to her, say this back to her. No, don't say that, say this. Like, probably could have utilised something like that when I was like 13, but that's not what I'm here for. So it's kind of like, again, you don't have to get involved in any of these things that's not for you, but when you're seeing it every day, it's just kind of like ground level stuff, and you know, it's a lot of money. And I get it, if you're in that position and you can afford this, you can afford to splurge this money. And yes, there is millionaires in there, 100%. I know that for a fact. There's important people in there. There's big, you know, business guys in there. There's opportunities in there. But you got to comb through all this.
I'll stop it there because at this point I realised he was definitely holding back, as this was something I found on Reddit. Another guy very similar to him says he was in the war room for 18 months and was adamant people should not join. It's a waste of money. Here, at the end of a much longer chat about meeting millionaires, he says to meet them, you must attend events which cost between 25 and 50k. The war room alone is useless. It's just a telegram, which is essentially a group chat. So matey here making the videos never actually mentions the prices of these millionaire meets, which are insane. Still protecting his captors.
You know, ground level nonsense. You got to comb through the fanboys, you got to comb through the worship and kind of be blind to it in order to focus on what you're in there for and maximise it. And I take accountability, I didn't.
Again, taking accountability for getting scammed. Now this next bit summed up the type of losers you will find at these places. This is so pathetic, it's kind of funny.
The stuff that I didn't like rubbed me the wrong way to the point where I'd lost interest. Now when Tate got locked up, he was locked up for like 12 weeks. And it got kind of quiet in there. But he come back and he was discussing, you know, his experience. We were all excited to find out what the fuck was going on. And he started communicating again. And then he said, he was talking about how bad his experience was in his cell or whatever. And he said, look, imagine you just locking yourself in your bathroom for 8 hours. How hard that would be. You know what I mean? Picture what it was like for me in the cell. Now when Tate got locked up, he was locked up for like 12 weeks. And it got kind of quiet in there. But he come back and he was discussing, you know, his experience. We were all excited to find out what the fuck was going on. And he started communicating again. And then he said, he was talking about how bad his experience was in his cell or whatever. And he said, look, imagine you just locking yourself in your bathroom for 8 hours. How hard that would be. You know what I mean? Picture what it was like for me in the cell. Like, you know what I mean? Okay then. And then he replied to himself a few moments later saying, by the way, I recommend all you guys try this. Try what? Locking yourself in the bathroom for 8 hours. I feel like it would be good if guys tried this type of thing. And I'll never forget this. I seen that, and you got to remember, I've been seeing grown men worship Tate, calling him chief commander, dressing like him, drinking like him, doing all this type of stuff. And I'm amongst these guys, even though I'm not doing it myself. I'm here with them. I'm associated, and it's rubbing me the wrong way. And I was sitting there, and I was in Dubai, and I was sitting with a couple of guys who weren't war room and a couple of guys who were. And I said, you see what Tate just said? I hope he's joking. That's got to be a joke, innit? And I said, look, if I see anyone who actually does that, if someone replies to that in 8 hours and says, I did it, I'm going to have to leave. And I know it's silly and I know it's funny and we all laughed about it, but enough's enough. And I was kind of like exhausted with the whole thing anyway. But by then I was kind of like, it's not for me. And, you know, lo and behold, I woke up the next day and a bunch of guys had already did it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think like 10 hours had passed. And guys had already done the 8-hour shift in the bathroom. Do you know what I mean? So they must have been like, oh shit, I'll go there right now. Chief Commander, I did it. I locked myself in the bathroom for 8 hours. Again, and, you know, Tate, nothing bad to say about Tate within that. But it's kind of like, all right, and but you're kind of assuming that the members haven't spent no time in a jail cell. You're kind of assuming that the members haven't done longer than 12 weeks in jail. You're assuming that, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, he's automatically assumed that these guys have never been through anything like that before, which kind of made me think, okay then, so even he knows the majority of the people he's dealing with.
And so the penny drops. Or does it? See how it's dawned on him that not only does he see all these other guys as complete losers, Andrew Tate clearly does as well. Does Andrew Tate see me as a complete loser also?
Genuinely thought that that was beneficial for guys to do, then, you know, maybe it is, maybe I should try it, but that it's not for me, you know what I mean? But yeah, so that was the straw that broke the camel's back that made me decide, this ain't for me. So after that, I think like 9 months had passed, and obviously after a year, you gotta renew. You ain't gotta pay the full price again, but it's like a small fee just to renew. And I kind of just let it expire, and you know, that was like a year ago now. And that's why I left. So yeah, nothing really negative to say about it.
You see, again, after all of that, nothing really negative to say about it. You've just made a 20-minute video destroying the whole thing, mate. You can really see the self-preservation going on here. Denial that you've been conned, denial that you're the type of loser that gets attracted by Andrew Tate type characters, and as you'll see from the end, still a deluded sense of admiration for Andrew Tate in defence of his disgusting behaviour.
This is me saying it just wasn't for me. If I missed anything out, let me know in the comments. I might answer some questions that I, you know, probably didn't address in this because I've just been winging this video. But yeah, that's why I left. Is it the worst place in the world? No. Let me touch on this quickly as well. There's nothing illegal going on in the war room, right? That I've seen. And I know these BBC and Channel 4 and everything do big hit pieces on the war room and the real world. And I always watch these hit pieces and thought, why don't you just join and find out for yourself instead of speculation? If you're going to spend all this money on getting this documentary or this series on TV, just spend the extra funds to actually get in there. Because I just told you how fucking easy it was to get in there. And they never seem to do it because there's nothing going on in there now. Is there businesses that are frowned upon? You know, OFM and webcams and stuff like that. Them businesses will always be frowned upon. But if they're done in a professional way, where you're offering a service to someone who's seeking the service and someone who's already in that field, I feel like, you know, do what you're doing. Now, if you're offering your services to someone who's not in that field and don't want to do it and has told you they don't want to do it and you keep pushing to try and get them to do it, you're going to get yourself in trouble.
I'm pretty sure the BBC and many other whistleblower reports on the war room were gathered by people who had signed up for it, so I'm not sure what the fuck he's talking about there. Did you watch it or not? Again, feigning ignorance of everything. In fact, not a single mention of any charge in the entire video. He describes this thing as a cult, but somehow the guy who set up the cult is still an alright guy. All kinds of mental gymnastics going on here. As you can see, he's not truly broken free from the cult just yet. Anyway, that's it for this video. Leave us a like or a comment, get subscribed or get fucked. This has been Contraband. Thanks for watching.